Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Beth Jones.
And I'm Peter Dubois. First tonight, one person was killed and at least one more seriously injured in a crash in Waterville.
Our Corey Bouchard is standing by live on the scene with the latest. Corey.
Yeah, good evening, Beth and Peter. I am here on the West River Road and Trafton Road, and I'm joined by Waterville Police Major Jason Longley. Now, Major, talk to me a little bit about what happened here earlier.
Yeah, so approximately 2:30 this afternoon, members of the Waterville Police Department and Waterville Fire Department responded to a two-vehicle crash at the intersection of West River Road and Trafton Road. At this time, we have confirmed one fatality. A second patient was transported to Inland Hospital with significant injuries.
And, you know, let's... I know there was a gray Toyota. I know there was a white, like a work truck. That just talk to me a little bit about what if we know, like, was speed a factor, any factors like that?
Yeah, I don't have any information to share at this time. The investigation's ongoing. We will have additional details that will be available at a later date.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you guys responded, Waterville Fire Department responded, and the Maine State Police reconstruction team did respond to help with reconstruction. Now, we're going to have more, like you said, available at a later date. For right now, let's send it back to you in the studio, Beth and Peter.
All right, Corey, thank you. Meanwhile, a Louisiana man has been charged with manslaughter in connection with the death of a child in Thomaston. 23-year-old Isaiah Scott was arrested in New Orleans this morning. A spokesperson for the Maine Department of Public Safety says 22-month-old Quayshawn Wilson died in Thomaston on May 29th. According to the spokesperson, an autopsy determined the cause of death to be blunt force trauma. Scott, who's originally from Louisiana, had recently moved to Maine and was living with his girlfriend and that child in Owl's Head. He returned to Louisiana after the child's death. The spokesperson says the process to extradite Scott back to Maine for the manslaughter charge is now underway.
In other news, Tuesday, Dover-Foxcroft residents will vote on a number of questions during the town's referendum election, including one that will decide the future of a local landmark. Our David Ledford spoke with town officials to break down those questions.
On June 11th, Dover-Foxcroft residents will head to the polls to weigh in on the town's municipal budget, several land use ordinances, and the fate of the Mayo Mill Dam.
The only item that's truly controversial and has people riled up is the dam question, because it represents change in the community.
Town officials say the dam poses safety risks, and bringing it up to code would cost at least $10 million, a bill that would fall to the taxpayers.
There hasn't been any power produced since 2007, and the industry no longer is operational. The dam contributes to flooding in our community, and that's a public safety issue that literally cuts the town in half.
However, removing the dam would come at no cost to the town, thanks to the project's eligibility for public and private grant funding. Town officials say some locals disapprove of the removal because of the dam's history.
They've seen that view of the river with the dam on it for their entire lives.
While the dam is the most hotly debated issue, town officials say it's important to weigh in on the rest of the referendum questions. Article 1 addresses the local school district budget, while Article 2 asks voters to increase the municipal budget to $9.1 million, partly to address road and bridge work in the town. And Articles 4 through 8 amend or enact land use ordinances.
Even though it's a state primary, it's primarily local issues, but it's very important that people come out for this election.
Polls open at 8 a.m. Tuesday at the town's municipal building. To review all of the ballot articles ahead of the referendum, visit our website. In Dover-Foxcroft, David Ledford, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Maine's senior senator grilled one of the nation's top law enforcement officials over illegal marijuana grows in Maine linked to China. The exchange came during the Senate Appropriation Committee's hearing to review the FBI's budget request for the upcoming fiscal year. Senator Collins pressed FBI Director Christopher Wray over actions the Bureau is taking to crack down on the illicit grow operations.
What is the FBI's theory about why Chinese nationals or Chinese transnational criminal organizations are setting up these illegal marijuana growing operations in states like Maine?
So it's something we have a number of investigations into, as you might imagine. I guess speaking in my sort of intelligence agency leadership role. We don't yet see, but we're obviously investigating any direct ties between these grows and, say, the Chinese government itself. But we are starting to see, as we unpack this, more ties between a lot of these growing operations and Chinese organized crime.
This exchange came after Senator Collins and the entire Maine delegation sent letters to Attorney General Merrick Garland raising similar concerns.
And after growing safety concerns, the city of Bangor is now considering a proposal to expand its current ban on loitering in some areas of the city. But that possibility is sparking concern from advocates who say the proposal is unconstitutional. Our Grace Blanchard has the story.
The city of Bangor is no stranger to loitering.
There's a loitering ordinance that the city has, and it's been in effect for quite some time.
According to Bangor's city solicitor, the city council is considering a new proposal that would add further provisions to the current law that prohibits people from obstructing both vehicle and pedestrian traffic in a public place.
The proposed one is a very narrow proposed addition to that ordinance that would say that you can't loiter on a median that's less than 6 feet wide in a high traffic, a high speed or high volume traffic area.
Growing safety concerns inspired the new proposal.
There's a narrow median on the Odland Road that is particularly dangerous.
However, some say this act is an infringement on First Amendment rights.
People have free speech rights in public. They have rights in the sidewalks, the streets, the parks, public squares.
ACLU of Maine has challenged similar ordinances in the past.
Bangor has a number of tools at its disposal to address this issue. They don't have to interfere with people's freedom of speech.
However, Bangor officials say this issue is not about free speech.
We are not favoring any form of speech. You can't loiter in these particular areas, and it doesn't matter if you're not saying anything. It doesn't matter.
According to Sevchek, the City Council is expected to review the proposal at their upcoming meeting, but he says they will need to review it at least twice before any changes are made to the ordinance. In Bangor, I'm Grace Blanchard for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
$4.3 million is going to the Passamaquoddy tribe to build an eel aquaculture facility at Indian Township in Princeton. The money is coming from USDA Rural Development. A statement says it will be an alternative to wild harvesting. The grant was one of just 8 across the nation. USDA Rural Development Maine Director Rhiannon Hampson says the grant is an important investment in the tribal business and a critical step for a heritage industry. Hampson said, quote, "Resilience is rooted in diversity and innovation. By supporting this partnership, we're celebrating traditional resource harvesting while recognizing that innovation helps to achieve our goals for sustainable market access," end quote.
Well, and as we turn our eyes to the outside, or more like our ears, because we can hear the thunderstorms going on overhead right now, kind of blanketing the area right now.
Right, yeah, we saw that first round just pellet us with rain earlier this afternoon after what was a really nice start to our day.
Really beautiful day, you know, thus far. My dogs are none too thrilled that there are thunderstorms in the area, I can assure you. All righty, folks, well, let's go ahead and get a first check of our forecast and see how long they're sticking around.
Thank you so much, Beth and Peter. Our first weather today is brought to you by Jordan's Furniture. It's not just a store, it's an experience. And look at this, bring out those barbecues. 80s out there earlier today. Just felt like a summer day, 86 to be exact here in town. Of course, a wonderful looking day with lots of sunshine, but not quite just sunshine. Look at this, some storms developed earlier today, even some rumbles of thunder as well. And that is the case out there right now, and that will be the next several hours. Same story into these overnight hours. Now the winds are pretty calm, nothing too much to really mention here besides an 8-mile-per-hour breeze right at the coast, Bar Harbor, Rockland into Machias, some light breeze, but here in town we are looking at pretty much a 0-mile-per-hour wind. Now the overnight planner does get much better. Those storms will be moving out. We're still looking at a few passing clouds, and temperatures will be well above average, hovering back in those mid-50s. A couple of spots back in those upper 50s. Beth and Peter?
Alrighty, Conrad, coming up on ABC 7 News at 6, the interlibrary loan system has been temporarily suspended, but the repercussions are now being felt across the state.
And an audit of Versant Power has been ordered by the Maine energy regulators after rate increases and other actions taken by Versant. All those stories and more when ABC 7 News at 6 comes back.
We've been on this property for 47 years. What I've learned along the way is the better tools you have, the easier the job and the better job you get.
He is a former owner of another brand, tractor. He wanted green.
Everything has to be pruned and cut, and there's a lot of stuff that has to get moved. You can't get any more American than John Deere, I don't think.
They don't write songs about any other tractor company. It's John Deere.
Experience United, your local John Deere dealer.
Embrace the journey, where each moment turns into a cherished memory. Ensuring life's journey and experiences along the way. AAA, we're always with you.
Hammond Lumber Company has been a trusted partner of professional contractors, do-it-yourselfers, and homeowners for generations. It's the level of trust that Hammond Lumber has earned by providing an extensive selection of products and materials from industry-leading suppliers, with guidance and support through every stage of any project, including delivery of materials throughout Maine and New Hampshire. Hammond Lumber Company is, has been, and will always be your building project partner.
While politicians talked, President Trump fought for working people. He took on China and secured the border. I'm Austin Terrio, former NASCAR driver and small business owner. I'm proud to have President Trump's endorsement. Together we'll secure the border, stop Biden's electric vehicle mandate, and bring back American manufacturing. I'll fight to make sure our best days are ahead.
Endorsed by President Trump. Austin Terrio for Congress.
I'm Austin Terrio, and I approve this message.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back. Some Maine libraries can't get books for their readers after the interlibrary loan system was temporarily suspended. Our Callie Warren has the story.
We just had to say no to somebody who was like, oh, I'm reading this series, I'm enjoying this author, can I get the next one? No.
Small libraries depend on the interlibrary loan system to provide their patrons with access to materials they don't have.
Boy, do we depend on van delivery.
But after a contract issue, the service has been indefinitely suspended. According to the Maine State Library website, their contract with the courier service they've previously used for library book loan transfers is up at the end of the month. For legal reasons, an open bidding time occurred for new contracts. A company that placed a bid to provide the courier service had their bid rejected. The state has granted them the opportunity to appeal, but with little time left on the previous contract, materials can no longer be placed on loan because there will be no way to deliver them. The Maine State Library declined to comment due to the pending litigation. Library staff say smaller libraries, like Carver Memorial, are being hit harder by the interlibrary loan hiatus.
But people want to read what they want to read, which of course they should, but we usually fix that by lending and borrowing, and right now we can't.
Librarians say there's no timeline for when this issue will be resolved, which affects patrons' ability to access materials. The Edith Dyer Community Library in Hampden is also grappling with uncertainty regarding the suspension.
So I can't get DVDs anymore?
Not from other libraries, unless you want to actually go to one of the other libraries.
Oh, what a great idea. Yeah, I'll go to Portland every day.
The uncertainty of it causes some anxiety. We'll try to just take it a day at a time, a patron at a time.
For more information on resources and library loan alternatives, visit our website at foxbangor.com. Callie Warren reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Maine energy regulators have ordered an audit on the state's second largest energy utility. The Maine Public Utilities Commission says they have, quote, questions and concerns related to rate increases and other actions taken by Versant Power in recent years. Regulators say they will examine all of Versant's functions, including the effectiveness of senior managers and the board of directors to manage operations, customer service it provides, and billing practices. According to Public Advocate Bill Harwood, management audits typically happen every 3 to 6 years. Versant Power responded to the audit by saying, quote, transparency with our regulators is an essential and expected part of our business. Versant Power appreciates the opportunity to demonstrate the professionalism and discipline we exercise every day in delivering safe, reliable service to our customers. And in sports, we're going to be taking you around the area for some of the day's high school playoff games. Hopefully they went off before Mother Nature did.
That's right.
All
and
right.
Of course, we'll have some Celtics talk for you coming up.
Buying a home is a big family experience.
Oh, where else would you want to live?
Every story's different.
I grew up on another farm, and now I own my own.
I got introduced to a credit union when I was in college. Whether they got one customer that day to 1,000 customers that day, it feels like you are the one. The lender that you're talking to, you'll see them after work at the T-ball game. It is our dream home.
It's heaven, I guess. Did you get mommy?
The local credit union can give you that peace of mind from start to finish, and that's what they did here.
Let Hellman's Bakery put a smile on your face with their tasty offerings of breads, baked beans, lasagna, tuche and turkey pies, fruit and cream pies, wedding and specialty cakes, pastries, and more. Hillman's, your hometown bakery, Fairfield.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Long-term care insurance can be expensive, and it is a use-it-or-lose-it policy. Is this still how long-term care works today?
In the traditional sense, when you're buying a traditional long-term care insurance, it's a use it or lose it, like your home insurance. You're paying a premium to your home insurance, and if your house burns down, glad you have it. If your house doesn't burn down and you don't use the insurance, it's use it or lose it, okay? You've paid all those premiums, but you did that.
Your financial goals may appear to be all about savings and investing, but in reality, it's about much more. Your life, your family, and your legacy.
Plan your future with Warrant Financial.
Tonight's sports is brought to you by the KG. Stop in for hunting and fishing supplies, apparel, and homemade food.
Finally play tomorrow. Welcome back in, everyone. Thanks for staying. And today, ahead of Game 1 of the NBA Finals on Thursday, the Celtics will welcome back old friend or maybe foe, depending on who you ask, Kyrie Irving. Irving was traded to Boston. A ring with LeBron James. Famously said he would love to re-sign before leaving for the Nets. His relationship with Boston fans has then been rocky to say the least, but leading up to the series, and his relationship with the Celtics, mainly Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
You know, it's going to be adversarial on the court. It's going to be very competitive, but off the court, I mean, we know our family, we know each other's families, and that's the type of relationship I've always wanted outside of the game of basketball, is to be able to have that balance to compete with people on the court, but also treat them like my brothers and be there for them and whatever they need.
Irving is averaging over 22 points and 5 assists so far this postseason. Let's stay with some playoff action here, but we'll pivot down to the high school level and kick the day off at Bordick Park. The Class A North Regional quarterfinals is where we'll start. Top seed Hamden hosting Brewer. We're going to pick this one up all the way in the top of the 6th. Brewer up 1 with a man on. Look at this throw from Rogan Lord to catch the runner stealing for the out. a few pitches later, and the defense would keep rolling. Garrett McLeod makes an incredible play here on a hard-hit ball from Grady Van Ettestein to retire the side. But this game was all about Grady Van Ettestein. The senior dazzled again with 10 strikeouts over 6 2/3 innings. Here he is retiring the side in the 6th, and he is pumped up to say the least. The Witches roll to a 1-0 upset victory.
It feels great. I mean, we got our redemption from last year. Last year was a horrible feeling. So, I mean, we got that great feeling back and winning a playoff game, and we're just going to keep on going.
Moving over to the turf at Hamden Academy, Broncos softball hosting Messalonski. Top of the first, runner on for Lorelei Parker. She rips a liner into left. Charlie Shute is going to get on her horse. She comes around and scores 1-0 Hampton. But then the Eagles would settle in. 2 runners on, and Madison Wilson gets the grounder to third. Clean play from Elise McDonald. She ends the threat. Next inning, Kiara Gabrick is going to send a liner into right field with 2 down, and Chloe Michaud makes the running play to retire the side. The Broncos had it going on that end, too. Shute had a gem in the circle, and Hamden advances to the semifinals with a 1-0 shutout win. All right, finally up to Old Town for a Class B baseball quarterfinal. Caribou Vikings visiting the Coyotes. First inning, Caribou up 1-0. Bryce Dillon with a hard chopper to second. Takes a funny hop, and that one gets into right field. Matt Pelletier scores. Vikings up 3 after 1. Bottom of the frame now, Jackson Lizotte up for Old Town, and he puts a great swing on this ball. That one goes off the wall in right field. That is going to bring in a run. Old Town clawing back. 3-2 now after a pass ball, but that doesn't faze Braden Brescia. Look at this curveball for the backwards K. Vikings allow just those 2 runs in the first, cruise to a 12-2 victory. And that is all the time we have for sports. Here's Conrad Sapinski with your full 5-day forecast.
Thank you so much, Tyler. It's some good stuff there. Our main weather today is brought to you by Diversified Ink Tattoo Studio in Penobscot Plaza in Bangor, providing custom ink by licensed artists for over 20 years. And whoo, look at this. Nice and toasty out there today all over the state. Low to mid 80s in a few spots. Look at this. Augusta, we are talking near 90 degrees earlier today. But of course, the coast, and not quite as lucky. Looking at those low 70s, a couple of spots back in those mid to upper 70s, of course, just a little bit of a breeze right off the ocean, and just like that, temperatures are much cooler, with the ocean temperatures still being right around 58, 59 degrees. Now, temperatures overall, though, across the country, look at this, back in the 80s, all the way into southern parts of Canada, but then just to the west, you see that little blur right there, those blue colors indicating much colder temperatures. We're talking 40s and 50s as highs, but just to the east, we are looking at 70s and 80s. Now, speaking of a little bit cooler temperatures, our water temps, of course, the ocean takes a lot longer to warm up, still back in the 50s. A couple of spots where these darker blue colors are, still into those lower 50s in some spots, even around 49 degrees in some spots. But overall, though, of course, we're going to continue to warm up the closer we get to summer. We're cooling off actual temperature-wise, though. Air temperatures back at around 75 for tomorrow, 60s by Friday. So slightly below average, and then we're going to be hovering right around that average the next several days, Saturday, Sunday, and then into beginning to middle of next week. Same story, closer to average temperatures. Now, did see an abundant amount of sunshine earlier today. There are a few storms still in the region right now, a couple of rumbles of thunder as well. This will continue to weaken and dissipate overnight, but just south, look at Pennsylvania, upstate New York, more showers in the area, and that will be continuing once again overnight tonight, the next several days as well, as an active weather pattern really sticks around our region tomorrow, mainly into Friday, Saturday, Sunday, into Monday. That's those wet days that we are looking at, and definitely an active weather pattern the next several days as well, where potentially well over an inch of rain is likely in some spots. Here in town, we're looking at just a little bit under in some spots, 2 inches in other locations, even 2.5 inches of rain north, Greenville, Dover, Foxcroft, Millinocket area. That's where some of us, definitely a few at least, will have well over an inch of rain. For tonight, though, mid to upper 50s, we are looking at scattered showers and thunderstorms early. Other than that, partly cloudy and some areas of fog. For tomorrow, though, partly cloudy, a few sprinkles possible. Other than that, we're dry. Temperatures back at around 75. Our extended forecast outlook does show that active weather pattern, rain in the area, temperatures in the 60s 60s and 70s. Beth and Peter?
Alrighty, comrade, thank you.
And there's more to come after the break. Stay with us.
Spring is here. And now is the time to call Hickory Dickory Decks for your new deck, sunroom, or enclosed porch. They specialize in custom outdoor living and making your dream oasis a reality. See for yourself how Hickory Dickory Decks can transform your existing porch into a 3-season sun-space sunroom. Call Hickory Dickory Decks now for your free estimate. And enjoy life outdoors.
We've got an all-new game with a new way to play. It's Cash Pop from the Maine Lottery. You just pick one number from 1 to 15. If your number's drawn, you win. Just like that, with cash prizes up to $2,500 and 5 drawings every day. You gotta make it pop with Cash Pop.
Irish Collision Center is dedicated to quality collision repairs. Quality means Irish Collision Center stands by their work. Quality means they'll provide a written work guarantee for as long as you own your vehicle. Quality means a fast turnaround. Whether it's a fender bender or major repairs, Irish Collision Center is your collision specialist, and they're easy to find, within 2 miles of exit 157. Schedule your free estimate today. Irish Collision Center, Maine's #1 choice for quality.
While politicians talked, President Trump fought for working people. He took on China and secured the border. I'm Austin Terrio, former NASCAR driver and small business owner. I'm proud to have President Trump's endorsement. Together we'll secure the border, stop Biden's electric vehicle mandate, and bring back American manufacturing. I'll fight to make sure our best days are ahead.
Endorsed by President Trump. Austin Terrio for Congress.
I'm Austin Terrio, and I approve this message.
Welcome back. If you've stopped by the Belfast Community Co-op lately, you might have seen construction crews outside and a different layout inside. But soon the caution tape will be replaced with a ribbon. Our Doug Banks takes us to Belfast.
The sounds of grocery shopping. It's music to the ears of many. But a different tune has been playing at the Belfast Community Co-op. Serving Belfast since 1976, the Community Co-op moved into its current location over 40 years ago.
Originally, it was an A&P grocery store that was built in 1963, and this building has not seen a lot of major improvements over that time.
Their new expansion project will include a 33% increase in store space, a 20% increase in available groceries, and the return of their cafe.
We still have a lot of work to do, all the finishing touches. But we've really come a long way.
Described by Martinelli as a finely choreographed dance, the co-op has remained open throughout construction, even hosting events.
Tomorrow night here in Belfast, I'm going to be speaking about the future of community-owned grocery stores, how things are shifting, how in particular the dominant grocers are more and more carrying quite similar products.
Staying open was always the priority because we wanted to serve the people who shop here, and we also wanted to serve our workers who work here.
Culminating in a June 21st ribbon-cutting ceremony, the co-op has been subject to many rearrangements, but some things have stayed the same.
We're still here for the community. We're still a community-owned business, and if anything, we're hoping that this expansion is going to allow us to serve more people.
In Belfast, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Alrighty, folks. Well, that is going to do it for us. From everyone here at ABC 7, take care. Have a great rest of your night. Stay inside out of the storms if you can.
Yeah, we can hear those rumbling right now above us.
It's shaking the building right now.
It really is.
Yeah, we have some seriousness happening.
Yep. All right, everyone.
All right.
So stay safe and join us over on Fox 22 tonight just after this.
Tonight, the
triple-digit heat wave and where more severe storms are headed. Plus, the ceasefire plan to end the war in Gaza and the pushback on both sides. More Americans turn to World News Tonight with David Muir, the most watched newscast on television.
So you really got a lot more than the bike was worth in your pocket.
No, ma'am, it's paying bills because that $3,300 came at a span of maybe 5-6 months. There's no lump $3,300.
It doesn't make any difference. You got $17,300 for a bike that was worth $14,000 that you sold it to him for $14,000. According to you sold it to Mova for $14,000. Am I getting it right?
You're absolutely getting
Judgment
it right.
for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,300. We're finished.
You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
My opinion's the only one that counts.
You know, you buy a piece of property, you don't make the payments.
I loved it, you know, exactly what I came for.
They take your property, they don't give you your money back.
All the paperwork and just going back and forth, having to find this guy.
I agreed to a certain amount of money at a certain amount of time, and that was never reached.
Track him down and get the money was just way too much.
Is it fair to me to wait for 2 years for something? I mean, go to Ducati and see if they'll do that.
This is Fox 22 News Tonight.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Beth Jones.
And I'm Peter Dubois. First tonight, one person was killed and at least one more seriously injured in a crash in Waterville.
Our Corey Bouchard is standing by live on scene with the latest. Corey.
Yeah, good evening, Beth and Peter. Here's what I can tell you about what happened here. We're here on the West River Road and Trafton Road intersection. We're at about 2:30 this afternoon. There was a gray Toyota sedan and a white large work truck with a bed that collided. The man in the truck was thrown from the vehicle through the windshield and sadly did not make it, was pronounced dead on scene. The woman in the gray Toyota was taken to Inland Hospital where she is in serious condition. That is what authorities have told us that is going on here. Now, earlier I did speak